Good news, guys. Good news. There is a military coup d'etat in Gabon. Recently, Gabon president just rerun elections, making it good 53 years in office. Like the people of Gabon said that, okay, this man have been in office for good 53 years. That the French, which is the France countries, have made this man to remain in power, but doing nothing. How he become the president for good 53 years, that the country seems not to be pleasant with it. Then military took over the country. These are good news, making it 6 countries in Africa that the military have took over in Africa.
What exactly is happening in Gabon? So just yesterday, Gabon's National Electoral Commission announced that the country's president, Ali Bongo, had been re-elected for an unprecedented 3rd term in office. But just hours later, soldiers appeared on national TV announcing they had taken power and cancelled the elections. Ali Bongo has been president of Gabon since 2009 after succeeding his father, who had been president for 42 years. There have been celebrations on the streets of Gabon's capital, Libreville, and the president remains under house arrest and has been seen on video appealing for help from international allies.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, president of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
This latest coup is coming after similar coups in several African countries, including Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, Mali, Sudan, and Guinea.
This man has been in power for 53 years. The African Union did not say anything. I know now that it happened, they're going to be running here and there that because it happened in Niger, they did not speak. That's why it's happening in Gabonese and other African countries. Because this thing will continue to happen. It will knock in your door. You personally that is watching this particular video, if your president did not desist from the way he's doing things, military coup will take over, and this is becoming an eye-opening for the African country. How will a president be in power for good 56 years? For example, he's in power for 58 years now, and let's say they have transformed the country. Everybody, just like the way Gaddafi did in Libya, everybody was saying what he was doing, but this man will just be in power, then enrich themselves and France. That's all. No other person will benefit. No, the citizen will not have one. If you go to those countries, they are one of the most poorest countries in Africa. The president will just be in power. They have good mineral resources. These countries have everything you could think of. Some lithium, some gold, some diamond, while some have crude oil, but they will not do anything with it. Anyway, what do you guys think about this military coup that happened in Gabonese?
The borders of the country are closed until further notice. All the institutions of the Republic are dissolved. The government, the Senate, the National Assembly, the Constitutional Court. We call on the population for calm and serenity. And we affirm our attachment to the respect of Gabon's commitments to the international community.
À cela s'ajoute une gouvernance irresponsable.
After noting an irresponsible, unpredictable governance which results in a continuous deterioration of social cohesion that risks leading the country to chaos, today, the 30th of August 2023, in the name of the Gabonese people, we, the Committee of the Transition and the Restoration of Institutions, have decided to defend the peace, putting an end to the regime in place. To this end, the general elections of August 26, 2023, as well as the results, are cancelled.
I want to hear from you in the comment section. Do you support it? If you are with it, say solidarity forever. I don't know why it's sweeting me. And this thing, like I said in my previous video, it will continue to happen. Nigeria is only safe because of the ethnicity. That they don't speak the same language. Like if Igbo will not want to collaborate with Hausa, Hausa will not don't want to collaborate with Yoruba, Yoruba don't want to collaborate with Igbo. That's just it. If not, Nigeria would have been the first country military coup would have happened. Except the military head comes together and says, okay, if you seize power in Nigeria, we will split this country into three. That's when military coup will happen in Nigeria. Until then, maybe I'm just giving them this expo because the African leader don't want to wake up. The military will continue to take over power. So what do you guys think about these Gabonese and the points they're giving that a president will be in power for 53 years and they have not done anything for the country? While some other African country, I'm telling you the fact, some other African country will be in power. If they die, their son will take over power. So we just remain in power. I saw some, I forgot the name of this president. He's in wheelchair. While some is just an handicapé. He's old. The other one we are just urinating on his body during their national anthem. They are old. They don't just want to leave office. Come to my country. The president is shaking. He don't want to stay home. They just want this power. To do what exactly? You have the money already. Leave the office. Let's transform the country. They said no. I'm sorry I'm shouting. Just like I'm taking it personal.
I mean, this is a very interesting development, isn't it? Barely a month after what the coup in Niger, ECOWAS, the African Union, they're still trying to restore democracy. And now we have another coup in Gabon. What would you say is causing this wave of military takeovers?
Well, the spate of civilian dictatorship. And I think it's important to state that the Bongo family has been in power for 56 years. 56 years. The father would still have been in power if not for his ailment and then his eventual demise and all that. But, you know, and then the son has been there, the current leader has been there since 1999. Okay, and he's intent on continuing, which means he and Obasanjo at almost about the same time, you know, have been in power, and he intends. So you see, there comes a time when even the people would have had enough. You know, ordinarily, Gabon is one of the stabler, the more stable democracies, you know, on the continent. They have a stable and growing economy as well. But when, and I keep using the word, when a dictator insists that, you know, it must always be his way or the highway, this is what you get. The last election just opened up, the election that was just concluded a couple of days ago was the last straw. First of all, foreign observers, which is why I find interesting the fact that he's making an appeal. Foreign observers were not allowed in. Foreign journalists were not allowed in. Internet was, you know, shut down. For what? You understand what I'm saying? Just so you can have your way over a people and against their will. And so, and it is things like this that provide, excuse my language again, the ingredients for cooking coups. You know what I mean? So, and he actually cooked, he had bought all the ingredients for a coup, and it was served to him. And that's what happens to civilian dictators and people who insist on having their way over the will of the people.
And the fact that they've been releasing videos of Gabonese citizens running into the streets celebrating as news of the coup broke out, it just piggybacks on what you were saying, you know, this irresponsible government.
Truth is, coup plotters derive their oxygen from the heartbeat of the people. Yeah. Did you hear what I said? It depends on the pulse of the people. You know, coup plotters would usually, and if you notice, when coups don't succeed, we have often said that if you look at the history of Gabon, this is like the third coup. It's been stable for over a period of time. The first one was in 1964, and in that coup, there was an immediate reinstatement because France had an interest. Mba at the time was their president, and then When the coup happened, the French just went in immediately and restored him. 2019, the just deposed president's father was in a vegetative state. He had stroke. He was not even in the country. I don't know if you saw videos at the time of the man moving like, and it was so embarrassing. The French were propping him up, keeping him. That coup did not succeed also because of the French. Excuse my, I mean, we keep coming back to this, but it looks like the one thing that we have common running through this time around is, you know, the imposition of the French over the will of the people. Okay, and that's not democracy. Democracy derives from the people. Democracy does not derive from external forces. And so that's what you find. So this had to succeed, or this, I don't know, it's early days yet, but so far, you can see that the people are clearly very happy about it and they're behind him. And I can assure you that nobody, he's asking people to make noise. He has shut down the noisemakers. He has taken the internet from them. Those who should make noise for him, he has literally shut their mouths. So now there's no voice to speak for him.
But then I'm wondering, you know, what impact this coup would have on France's relations with its former colonies, you know, especially as it seems its influence and interest in Africa are now being undermined, you know, by this wave of military takeovers. If you're talking about the friends, you know, that will come to their rescue, will France be one of them, considering the roles they've played in the past?
Come to whose rescue now?
To the rescue of the deposed president.
Well, whatever happens, like I said, you know, coup plotters will derive their oxygen from the pulse of the people, or from the heart, or the heartbeat of the people. There is no way that, I mean, they would try, because that's what they've been doing over the past, but they're not, I mean, it's not popular right now. France is persona non grata right now. The name is, even if they don't like Russia and Bongo, they will go and, I mean, I say in Bongo, in Gabon, they will go and get Russian flag, whatever that means. I think it's just a metaphor for their newfound freedom, not necessarily a newfound love for any of these other countries, but just a way of saying, look, enough is enough. France will attempt, and there's something I suspect that may happen. They may begin to do preemptive coups now.
So that's what I was going to ask you next.
France might do preemptive coups now in some of its territories, and where our eyes are on some of them, and then they will now put their own, you know, preemptively put their own puppets there as if it was a coup. And I think the people should be very, very smart and alert, because these people are desperate. We are taking the oxygen out of, I keep using that word a lot today, but in another light now, we're taking the very oxygen out of France, and they desperately need to breathe. Africa has been their lifeline, and it's not going to be easy for them to let go. It's going to be a hard fight, a long drawn fight, but so far the people seem to be winning.
And what should the leaders of West African nations be keeping at the back of their mind right now? Just like you said, there could be a preemptive situation where some of these former colonial powers decided they want to place someone that is easier to deal with. What should they be looking out for in order to avoid this contagion? Because in a very sad way, a lot of people around news, I mean, a lot of people everywhere are asking the question, where is next? Because it seems that it's not stopping. It's a contagious situation, and leadership is classically bad around these parts. What do you say?
I'll draw from your last phrase, classically bad in these parts. There is no antidote against good governance. If the people are happy with you, the coup is very, very difficult to, I mean, it's going to be difficult to succeed in a coup situation. So simply, Bongo, like I said, he provided all the ingredients by his very actions and all that. Allow, if it's Western democracy you want, allow it to thrive. Do not impose your will on the people. Do not, bad governance, corruption, and imposition, either by the leaders themselves or by the West, over the will of the people, is a panacea for coups. So the best thing to do is, you know, rule your people well, avoid corruption, and do not let the people draw your oxygen from the people, not from external forces. And that, for me, will ensure that a government remains popular and on the seat among its people.
Okay, so how do you expect the African Union, to react to what just happened in Gabon, and also to strengthen democracy in Africa, considering the fact that what we seem to have now, like you said earlier, is a dictatorship and not really democracy as it should be practiced?
Unfortunately, the teeth have been pulled out of the mouth of African Union. Unfortunately. I mean, by now, the African Union would have weighed in on some of the things that are happening. But they all happen to be a bunch of, excuse my language, people, I won't use word, let me not use the word corrupt loosely, but compromised leaders. A lot of them. Many of them are puppets, and so they take their dictation from somewhere other than Africa. And so, because of that, they can't even talk. Right now, what are they going to do? They should have, they don't even have credibility anymore. It's so unfortunate. So, this is why the people are, seizing the gauntlet now, taking, deciding to just do things on their own. As you can see, in Niger, the people are with the administration. And I keep saying, and I'll keep repeating it, I do not support military coup. I do not think the army is the best way. But it does appear like that is the only way to reset civilian dictatorship. Because for me, civilian dictatorship is the worst form of government. Not even the military. Because the military will come, they will go. But civilian dictators will have an appearance of a democracy, and they are the worst type of people. So there's a reset right now, but that power is being drawn from the people. In Niger, you can see how the people are supporting them. I keep calling them Bongo. In Gabon, you can see that the people are also happy to be free. I don't want to begin to mention names, but it's obvious that there are some other African countries where some ancient,
lifelong rulers.
Yes, I was say ancient and modern leaders. Stay put dictators. Yeah. Those civilian dictators. We still have a few of them, and they may have to go very, very soon.
Dr. Okai, speaking of having to go, we have to go. Thank you so much for this conversation, and of course, we continue to monitor the developments.
Thank you.
Anyway, I want to hear from you in the comment section. What do you think about it? What do you think about ECOWAS and the African Union that is not speaking up now? I believe this is an eye-opening. It happened just within the space of 2 months now, Niger and Gabonese. And no other African countries are also planning their own right now as we are speaking. Except the president have to quickly reform us. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. Let me hand over to a democratically elected president. Because these people do... Anyway, see you on our next video because I'm just angry. All right, I love you guys. Please subscribe if you have not done so. If you do, turn on your notification bell so that you wouldn't miss out any of our future upposts. All right, guys, we love you and stay blessed. Peace out.
To get notified, and I see the show your support. Now say God bless you too.
Sense on the bed.
Plan B TV. Plan B TV, Plan B TV, oh, Plan B TV, Plan B TV, Plan B TV, Plan B TV.